project is a work in progress, so I would appreciate kind of feedback and comments from you. This paper explores the politics of representation of power and memory in monumental spaces by analyzing three South Korean art projects. Beginning in the mid-1980s, South Korea initiated a series of cultural spectacles and urban reforms alongside state-led international events. Among others, the Olympic Sculpture Park for the 1988 Seoul Olympics under the military regime of Japan and the 1995 Gwangju Biennial during the first civilian government of Kim Il-sung provide distinctive case studies to inquire into issues of memory and power.
Yuri, can you speak up a little bit?
Both examples are closely related to the dictator John Do-hwan, who gained control over the state by leading a military coup d'etat in December 1979 and ordering the Gwangju massacre in May 1980. The John administration constructed the park as a monumental legacy of the regime, which successfully hosted the 1988 Seoul Olympics. The Gwangju Biennial was a part of Gwangju City's memorialization project for remembering Gwangju Democratic Uprising and massacre of Gwangju City's citizens by John's army. First of all, I want to investigate how the Olympic Sculpture Park represents the desire of the state, which attempted to oppose the coup regime's political operations with a spectacle of the capitalist success and manipulation of Korean war trauma. After the announcement that Seoul was selected as host of the 1988 Summer Olympics, South Korea was in a festive mood to celebrate becoming a member of the group of advanced nations. The state promoted Seoul as a national symbol of a celebratory drama of the country's remarkable recovery from the ruins of the Korean War. The Seoul Olympics Organizing Committee described the sports event as the International Festival for Harmony and Progress of Global Community at Seoul, the capital city of the divided country in the Cold War era. The state strived to transform the image of Seoul from a victim of ideological conflict to a center for global peace. This effort was boosted by participation of communist countries in Seoul Olympics, including Soviet Union and China. However, North Korea boycotted the Olympics, and the government claimed that the citizens should be unified in order to protect the nation from the enemy's threat and to make successful global event. In fact, state bureaucrats had exploited resentment of North Korea and trauma of the Korean War for creating both citizenship and national unity. The government officials called the nation to renew its collective identity with images of progress and prosperity, while endeavor to control people with anxiety and terror by othering North Korea. In the years preceding the international mega events, urban centers were rebuilt and a series of new infrastructure facilities and museums were staged to impress citizens of the country as well as the international audiences. According to art historian Carl Hong, in this process, the new national culture was associated with the modern and the contemporary, as signaled in the National Museum of Contemporary Art and the Olympic Sculpture Park. The state promoted the modern and contemporary aesthetics as a symbol of the advanced cultural identity of the nation. She argues that people were prompt to renew themselves to fit the new nation, leaving behind conflicted politics during John's authoritarian regime. The Olympic Sculpture Park is the example that represents the military regime's emphasis on the new cultural identity and manipulation of memory politics in Seoul Olympics. Seoul Olympic Organization Committee Chairman Park Se-jik had a press conference to announce the plan to build the monumental space, the Olympic Sculpture Park, with help of 6 major Korean companies' donation of $9 million. The park was proposed as a historical monument of the authoritarian regime's success in both culture and economy. He said, quote, The Sculpture Park is the stage of Global Art Festival at the capital city of divided country, which offers not only advancement of Korean culture, but also the progress and harmony of the world. After the first symposium for the invited international artists sculpture installation, a press also remarked that the park allowed the historical conversation with the communist countries in Eastern Europe through cultural exchanges. The chairman and the press emphasized that the park was a symbol of advancement in culture and economy and political peace of the nation, which overcame ideological conflicts. 230 modern sculptures by internationally renowned artists from 65 countries were placed all around the park, along with other cultural structures such as sports arenas, hotels, and theaters. The main entrance on the west side of the park visualized the theme of peace and harmony. The word Peace Gate at the Peace Plaza, designed by famous Korean architect Kim Jung-up, is the most symbolic artifact in the park. The government-sponsored architectures in this period had a pressure to combine traditional aesthetics with the modern design so that forms could achieve both national pride and global recognition. At the patron's pressure, Kim combined traditional Korean aesthetics with modern design in the gate. Although the whole structure was in a modern and minimal shape, the curve of the wings was inspired by a traditional Korean roof design. In addition, motifs of Korean mythical animals decorated the wings in vivid colors. According to Kim, the wings implied the hopeful message that Korea was progressing toward a bright future. After passing the Peace Gate, visitors were welcomed by Korean artist Choi Man-lin and Calaton artist Jose Maria Subirach's collaborative work, Olympic Movement Monument, Rendezvous in Seoul. 4,000 stones from nations that participated in Seoul Olympics surrounded the abstract sculpture in order to illustrate Seoul as the center of global peace. The emphasis on progress and peace in the park reveals the state's yearning to erase brutal traces in Korean modern history, such as dependence on American imperial power, the Korean War, for democratic movements, challenges to the coup regime, the military government's violent oppressions on the movement. The brightness of the future substituted the scars of the past. In addition, the Olympics embraced communist countries, especially Soviet Union and China, under the rhetoric of peace and othered North Korea as the only enemy of the Cold War. This narrative blinded the historical fact that the Korean War occurred in the midst of the imperialist interests of Soviet Union, United States, and that the contemporary Korea still struggled in these political games. The state's desire in the park was to produce subjectivity favorable to the culture of peace and prosperity. This space created a new knowledge about history, preventing a critical reading of the past. The state power tried to produce popular memory through the transformation of urban space so that it could obtain mastery over memory. According to anthropologist Lisa Yoneyama, the reformulated city space may in turn yield a new container of power which produces new knowledges as well as amnesia about history and society. The remapping of history in this urban space creates knowledge about the past, making that knowledge politically inert and preventing critical reading. Secondly, I want to examine how the Gwangju Biennial formulated the memory of the Gwangju pro-democratic movement under the plan of reinvention of Gwangju City as a mecca of democracy during the government of the first civilian President Kim Yong-sam. On May 18, 1980, in Gwangju, South Korea, a massive democratization protest arose against General Chun Do-hwan, who had gained state power through a coup d'etat in late 1979. pulled out the army and suppressed the pro-democratic uprising by killing more than 2,000 people. Before discussing the Gwangju Biennial, I want to briefly explain Gwangju Memorial projects in the 1990s. The Kim Il-sung administration was the first to invest financial resources in the memorialization of Gwangju pro-democratic uprising. In 1994, the May 18 Memorial Foundation was established to coordinate various commemorative projects related to Gwangju. The Gwangju Democratic Uprising is the subject of commodification of the city, which memorializes the spirit of the movement through statues, monuments, and buildings in and around Gwangju City. The three sites selected for memorialization are the May 18th National Cemetery,